Okay then, so let's attempt take 2 of this stream. I don't know if this is now working one bit or if we are still without audio, then please let me know. It's a brand new stream that we just had to start up because, well, nothing's really going to plan. The first one was broke, no audio on it whatsoever. So let's try this again. Squid has gone fastest on 118.570 in front. We're here for the Temple of Speed at Monza in Italy. 1 week hiatus last time out thanks to the EA service, which were absolutely wonderful. But now hopefully we should be back and going, though the issues seem to be piling up. So Djokovic in P2, Matti in P3, Test now popping up at P2, demoting Djokovic and Matti a place each. So let's see how this is going. Could potentially be a very relaxing stream this for me if the audio's still not working for whatever reason. I'm not going to have to speak for the entirety of the stream, but it'd be a bit of a shame. Especially if there's no in-game audio either, then it'll be really, really bad. But this is what happens when you don't stream for a week. Twitch just decides to, well, not work, which is just a very Twitch thing to do. It is a very Twitch thing to do, unfortunately. Because right now I can't even get the playback on the stream, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be talking, because I don't know if I can even be heard, whilst I'm trying to sort this out and keep an eye on the action, which is a bit awkward. I can't work anything out right now. Okay, as for a beat, you can be heard. Is the stream audio, is everything working good? Hopefully it is, which means we'll actually just proceed as regular then. It's been a shit intro to this stream. We'll have to make do of it. Ondrejek's coming into the pit lane after his first run, and Reina's out on his second outlap. Watts is out on a quick run here in his Mercedes, down towards the Ascari chicane. Triple chicane, then first left-hander, followed by a right-left. Nicely taken there by Watts, who's looking for a strong result here to build off Mercedes' strong championship position right now as well. The Constructors' Championship incredibly close, which we will just look at in a little bit of time as well. The top 3 separated by 3 points in total. So here comes Watts then, goes 12th fastest. He'll be a bit disappointed with that, see if he can just improve a bit on the second run. And Reina heading on to that second chicane. The sausage carbon inside Sevato tricky causes him to invalidate that second run. As right now, nothing at all is working for me. I don't know quite why. Okay, so apparently now I can be heard. So hello and welcome to the Italian Grand Prix. Round 12 of the NEF1 Championship. Then it's a bit of a delayed intro. We're already halfway through qualifying, but it is what it is. I'll be somewhat tempted to restart the stream again and just share the race for this one, just to avoid the awkwardness that is these interrupted streams. But it is what it is. Watts then is coming into the pit lane, you would imagine, on this run. I don't think he'll be fueled up for 2 laps around here with the tyre wear being what it is. We have Ondrejek without a time. Both Hybrid and Wigan out of qualifying. I saw something happen to Wigan a bit earlier on, heading down the run to the Ascari chicane, but I don't know quite what happened. Some rain now again. Gonna have a go at that second chicane, and that's not a match made in heaven, is it? That's Sauber in the second chicane 1 bit. I mentioned on stream earlier as well, Luna has transferred over into Red Bull. So that's where we'll see her for the remainder of the season. We're looking for a new teammate to Reina. If you're watching this stream and fancy getting involved, then please let us know. Press one of the links below, which just says join new era, or give us a DM anywhere on our social media platforms, and we will get back to you. As welcome Nasi to the stream as well. You have missed something very, very special, to be honest, at the beginning of this season 10 for the first half. We have a Constructors' Championship battle, which is separated by 3 points for the top 3 at the front. We also have Squidge leading the championship by right now a healthy margin, but it's been very close throughout. Matty had a win snatched away from him in Saudi Arabia in controversial fashion as well. There's been a bit of drama this season, but it has been a very, very good season of New Era throughout. Highest attendance so far, and just the best season overall, as Squidge goes fastest for 118.225. See if we can even see sometimes dipping into the 118 or into the 117. Sorry. S10 is heading into a Ascari as a quick run through there. Purple through sector 2 according to the game. We're not going to take that at face value because it usually doesn't really mean anything. We have Djokovic popping up with P3 as well. Matty down in 5th at the moment. The man who's been on fire in qualifying recently. Djokovic's come across for a P2. And what is Tez going to be able to do? Are we going 17? No, but he does go ahead of Squidge by a couple of hundreds of a 100th of a second even. They are separated by 15 thousandths are the championship contenders, and where's the third championship contender? He's being wheeled back into the pit lane by his staff. Undercheck then up to 5th place, Noah up in 4th. Meanwhile, so I'm trying to work this out so I can actually watch the comments on the stream through my phone, but my Twitch has just decided to kill itself, which is a bit unfortunate because I can't do anything with it. So thank you very much, Twitch, for providing an unstable platform. As there we go, hopefully that's everything sorted. Noah heading into Parabolica. This will be an in-lap most likely. Yes it is, or is it an out-lap? That'll be an in-lap. Mr. Wilco on good form, up to P5. So Luna Van for the first time in that Red Bull, currently sitting 11th on the 19.3. See if she's going to be able to improve too. Her teammate P16 for hybrid and retired. We only need lap times from ABT and Reina to get out of that bottom row. So then Luna down the run into the first corner. Braking quite late at about the 100-meter board, and it's a slow entry to the right-hander, but you have to be very quick on the crossover into the left-hander, then nice and easy on the exit. You want to stick to the inside of the Curva Grande, don't let the car drift out too wide, which Luna has done. That'll actually cost you about 100th of a second. And then very, very tricky entry to, or very, very tricky apex to that second chicane with Soska being there. Want to stick it in 5th through these Lesmos, not upshift that extra time, which Luna just did. Cost you a bit of time on the downshift, and then DRS wide open as we're heading into Ascari, which this year we're going to see a couple of invalidations, a couple of track limit warnings, hand-to-hand race through this very fast left-hander on entry. Yeah, Luna getting a lap time invalidated there. It's very hard on track limits that particular corner. On board with the Mercedes Vaiwas, who just does it a bit better, stays within those white lines, and lap is valid still. One more corner to go, Parabolica. However, it's technically possible to invalidate there as well if you just drift a bit wide. Can definitely happen. Vaiwas does drift a bit wide. Oh, it gets very close to those limits, but not quite enough for an invalidation. He improves up to 13th place, half a second. He needs to improve a lot further in order to make that top 10. And everyone at the moment is in the pit lane, apart from Iwat, who will now be on a very, very calm slowdown lap. So, I'm afraid we've got nothing of interest for you. We have got nothing of interest for you for the time being. So let's see again if I can get this shut up. For whatever reason it's not working on my phone, but it is working on my PC. Well, it's just a bit of friendly banter between ABT and Nasi for my teammates, if I'm not mistaken, which I'm usually not. Let's hope I'm not in this situation. Make it slightly awkward. As the Noah is the first one to come out of the pit lane to start another outlap, and Reina just behind as well. Then we have a couple of we have a Ferrari, we have an Alpine with just about 3 minutes left. So then very close at the moment between Tess and Squidge. A little toe down that back straight might well be necessary in order to make pole position here. We'll see how they synchronize it. Iwatts right now really needs to focus on track position as well. Can't afford to lose any more points in the constructors. That's going to remain tight all along. Noah Van is going to be first to start his flying lap. We will have to switch over though to this man in contention for pole position. Squidge 2017, he has one lap to improve by a minimum of 15 thousandths of a second in order to snatch pole position away from Tess. Is he going to be able to do that? We'll wait and see. Noah Van down the run into turn 1, braking very, very late. Second gear heading into the first part of the chicane. Quick switch over and then a little bit of wheel spin. Not the cleanest of exits there for Noah. Let's go on board and with Squidge, see what he's going to be able to do into the same chicane. Needs to keep it clear of lockups around these heavier braking zones. 2 real heavy braking zones on this circuit. It's turn 1 and turn 4. Iwatts has retired from this session. You would imagine that's in the pit lane. Yes, it is. Been surprised he didn't stay out just to provide a little bit of a slipstream for his teammate, but it is what it is. Lesmo 1, beautifully executed by Squidge. Lesmo 2 can make or break a lap around here. Nicely handled. Not pushing track limits though. We'll see what that turns into when we come across the Sector 2 split in just a moment. It's looking good for Squidge, let's just say that. Ascari, beautifully handled by that Ferrari. Noah's about to come across the line. He's improving. How much is it going to be by? Doesn't gain him anything apart from a little bit of safety. Here we go then. Squidge heading through the Parabolica into the final run down the back straight. Only a couple of meters left. You stick to the inside wall. Just minimize the run down there. And very close to the 17s, but not quite. 118.082. And that's for Tess. Not improving through the first sector. Needs to find a little bit through that second and third then. Through the second Lesmo, that was beautiful on the exit, used up as much of the track as you would dare, but how much is it going to have to risk it into Ascari, or is he still in contention? This is going to be very close between the two. Has to play it a bit safe into Ascari, in order to maintain momentum down that second straight, not invalidate. This is going to make or break his lap. This final Parabolica corner where it is so easy to just drift wide. He's got a little bit of a slipstream down that back straight from the Alpine. It's not going to impede him in the corner. Here we go then. Is it going to be Squidge? Is it going to be Tess? It is going to be Tess just behind Squidge then in P2. Improving, but it is so close between the three. Djokovic has stuck it into third. Matty is in fourth place. Then we have the RBs of Noah and Ondricek, followed by Mr. Wilco, Holman, Jamer, and Ray is your top 10. Luna just outside that top 10. for Red Bull. Macus, Darstyle, Recon, Iwat and Reina, Hybrid ABT and Wigan ABT wasn't able to get a lap time in throughout the course of this session, so that is a shocking performance that from ABT. For whatever reason I do not know, but not promising signs of the weekend to come. Very, very close there between the championship protagonists, but in the end, Squidge just holds on by about 300ths of a second. Then it was about 2.5 tenths, maybe even 3 tenths down to Djokovic and Matti, who have set identical lap times as well. As there you can see, 32,000 separating the top two, then another 3 tenths down to Djokovic and Matti on identical times. Close between Noah and Ondruchek as well in that intertwined Racing Bulls battle, with Ondruchek right now has come on off, but Noah, if he can keep performances like that up, might well catch up before the end of the season. Ray, crucially for Alpine, inside the top 10. So is Jamar for Ferrari. Mercedes just need that little bit more out of Iwat this weekend in order to not fall behind. We're going to go to a little bit of a break then before we get this Grand Prix underway. It'll be about 5 minutes as usual. Whilst we wait, I'm going to give you a view of the Constructors and Drivers Championship tallies. You can just adore the championship battle we are having. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of minutes' time for the Italian Grand Prix. My English speaking is not on its high point today. I will see you in just a moment. Alright everyone, we are back and we are very soon going racing here in Italy. Only a couple of seconds left on that timer before we get this 27 lap long Grand Prix started. Or Grand Prix should be said, that absolutely devours your tyres. So expect 2 stops aplenty and expect different strategies throughout that field. We'll have a look what the tyre strategies are as we get on the grid quite shortly. Hoping to see a couple of differences. Let's just bring that all up. It's a lot of medium tyres, but there's a couple of outliers on the hards, including Djokovic, Ondrejek, iWatts and Hybrid doing a couple of different things there. A little bit down the order, both Hybrid and iWatts obviously. Djokovic maybe just trying to outlast Tess and Squidge. Try to provide an effective overcut around the circuit, which I'm not convinced. But it should be a natural 2-stop of this. I'd be surprised to see people 1-stopping. We shall wait and see. Let's get lap data and everything up so we are ready to go for the Grand Prix to come. 27 laps as mentioned around this Temple of Speed Monza circuit, which is one of the absolute highlights on the F1 calendar. Usually quite a good NEF1 race around here as well. Let's just hope that the DRS is not what it was back in Imola, which saw overtaking basically a right, not a privilege, as to say that. If you wanted to, you could overtake into turn 1. It's a quick outlap around here though. Squidge blasting away into a Ascari then as well. Coming up with Parabolic and probably about 10 seconds. The entire field is with them. As Darren just closed that gap a little bit, buddy. There's a big gap between the front runners and Recon through Iowa, so you're going to have to hurry it a bit through Parabolica. Try to keep it within one big train, no real gap swarming. What happened with Wigan through qualifying? What happened to Hybrid in qualifying? That's something we'll probably never know. As for BT, wasn't able to get a time in. Where can he get to for this Italian Grand Prix? Predicted 2-stopper from the game. Let's just see. That was the prediction for Imola as well. It saw Tess lose out on P2 to Matty due to being out-strategized. Tess went on the 2-stopper van. Everyone else did a 1-stopper on the podium. That was Squidge and Matty that day. Can they do the same today? We'll wait and see. 5 red lights are on. And they're out for the Italian Grand Prix. There's a good getaway from Squidge Dad, who jumps Tess quite significantly and cuts him off. Can Djokovic maybe sling something around the outside? Matty's going to make it 3 wide, and we have contact into turn 1. It's a Haas and a Ferrari that have come together. Mr. Wilco and also Morena, who's had to take avoiding action into the chicane. 10-second time penalty for corner cutting will unfortunately probably be served in the pit lane. If it isn't, we can remove it after the race. Squidge leads from Matthews up 2 positions on Tess. Djokovic down 1 on the hard tyres. Not a bad start at, especially considering hard tyres are on that Williams. 10-second time penalty for AB for ignoring yellow flags can be investigated after the race as well. Here we go then. Tess, not in an ideal situation for his championship campaign, losing a position straight off the bat to Matty, who is very much in this hunt as well. 40 points behind Squidge, 10 points behind Tess. So he very much wants to pass Tess in the championship for starters before coming up to a couple of tracks which is going to suit Matty a bit better than these latest couple of weeks, including that Mystery Grand Prix, which he was able to win in changeable conditions. Squidge then fast lap of the Grand Prix and now tries to break the toe of Matty Adam, just coming up behind him. We have Djokovic very much in the back of Tess as well, and side-by-side action Was that with Ray and Noah, I believe? Let's see if that battle continues on. So then almost a second's worth of a gap between Squidge and Matty out in front. Matty closing that in a little bit with the first opening of the DRS heading into Ascari. And this is the problem with a circuit like Monza. Very, very hard to break away because you've got a DRS on one end of the track. Then you have an identical DRS zone at the very other side. So you basically only got 3-4 corners to break out a full second because this next DRS zone is going to be effective. So this is where Squidge could find himself in a little bit of problem, or in a little bit of trouble if he's not careful. But the DRS isn't as effective as was last time out. It's going to get Matty alongside, and you would imagine pass as we get into turn 1. Yes, it is. Matty takes lead of the Italian Grand Prix. Squidge sits behind in P2 and through Curva Grande they go. Could he think about a move into the inside of the second chicane? You would think not. But you never know with these guys where they fancy throwing a move. Holman running in a bit of clear air, but he has a couple of guys behind him. That is Luna, Ray, and Iwat riding this chuff. Ray and Iwat slowing each other down a little bit. 9/10 of a second behind Luna. Need to focus on not losing that DRS advantage. That could see you down quite a couple of seconds over the course of about 10 laps. You'll lose a significant amount of time by not having that straight line speed advantage. Noah, that was quick. 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings in 3 laps. Which just goes to show as well. Noah usually doesn't pick up too many of those. That just shows you we're going to have quite a fair few of those types of penalties over the course of the evening. Here we go then, Squidge is about to re-overtake Matty for the lead of the Grand Prix, and I believe we can now say we're going to shut off the battle for the lead of the Grand Prix until further notice. Luna on the back of Holman, not anywhere near close enough to make a move. Ray is having to go almost defensive on Iwat, who's within half a second behind him. Talk about people who's had a good start. Beatty up 6 positions on the start. 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags can be investigated as long as it's not removed. But a big improvement there for Beatty over the first couple of laps. Let's see if he can have a clean race throughout. Mr. Wilke had a horrid start coming together with SFOY Jamar heading into turn 1, I believe it was. And that was him into the wall in the new front wing. And he's 29 seconds behind in P19. And this could turn into a problem for Jamar if he's unable to hang with the pack ahead of him. Just within about 1 second gap required as Matty is within half a second going through Parabolka, so we'll expect a Alpine lead in this Grand Prix yet again in a couple of moments. Is SFOY Jamar going to get that DRS open is the question. Was he 1 second behind at the DRS detection point? No DRS open, and that could cost him time, costing him about 1/10 of a second down that main straight, but he does get a massive slipstream on and some help from the guys ahead that are going side by side. Luna and Iwat make contact, and that could be big for the championship. A Mercedes into the wall along with Luna and a Ferrari going past. Also, that's very, very good for Ray, bad for Mercedes. Bad for Luna as well. Just coming together a little bit in that first corner. One not want to leave an extra inch for the other. We'll have a look at that after the race, I'm sure. But it's the type of incident that is very, very common on the exit of turn 2. As Darren ran freezing, tampered to multiple track limit warnings, and now we're starting to get the midfield just spreading out a little bit. Noah's on the back of Ondruchek, is on the back of Djokovic still, on the back of Tess, Squidge, and Matty leading the charge. Right now it's all down to that DRS zone heading into turn 1, and it's where all the overtakes are going to be done, and as this goes on, they're just going to pull away further and further from Holman. Ray, I would imagine, is pretty happy in this situation that he is currently in. He's got his teammate up to P2. He is in P8 at the moment, battling away with Holman very shortly, probably for P7, with Jamar and Iwatts both behind him. So Alpine right now not looking bad. However, Ferrari at the moment top scoring constructor in P1 and P9. Such is the situation where I don't actually think we've had a double podium for any single team so far this season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we have. So that's Marina, 3-second time penalty, and let's move away from that and go on to the penalty watcher instead. And you can see those 3 seconds already racking up, and Marina racking up 10-second time penalties and 23 seconds worth at the moment. Pass down style then for P16. Through Parabolica we go, trying to line up a move on Wigan, who's on the back of Hybrid then, but it's a bit too long a distance in order to start thinking about a move, and actually Emreina might think about a move on Wigan, who's very slow in the straight line here for whatever reason. Inside outside, Wigan just covers the middle, and Emreina's not able to do anything about the almost stationary Williams by comparison's sake on the back straight. So Marina remains in P14 for the time being, but looking relatively pasty early on in this race. It's those 23 seconds worth of penalties that could be an issue though. Just a small one, nothing major. All 19 cars in this Grand Prix still running. So here we go, Van Marine, another 3-second time penalty, nearing disqualification on penalties now is Marina, which would be less than ideal. Matty has decided to not overtake Squidge on this particular lap, just opting to stay behind instead. Djokovic is actually doing very well on that set of hard type. The question is, running within these many cars ahead of him, how much is that going to destroy his tires, is the question. How much are you limiting the lifespan of those hards? We'll wait and see. Or can this actually be pulled out into a one-stopper? We'd be looking at about lap 12 for a pit stop for Squidge, Matty and Tess on those medium tires. It's not far to go, to be fair. It's another 5 laps. Those are the mediums which people are boxing away from. But are we going to see split strategies at a circuit here where it's a bit it's a bit tricky to overtake, but not massively difficult. Catching up shouldn't be too hard either, especially on fresh rubber. I would love to see a couple of split strategies throughout the field, and we do also have some clouds around the circuit. Matty comes into the pit lane. Is that Noah who follows him in? Yes, it is. So Matty pulled the trigger on an undercut then, but where is he going to come out? You would imagine between the Sauber and his teammate. Mac is there as well, around the back of that Sauber, which is why you couldn't see it on the minimap. Might actually be able to make it out ahead of a couple of cars. The Sauber is coming into the pit lane. So did maybe the Aston Martin of Holman. Yeah, he got a 10-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Did it at a ridiculous pace, actually. So then Matty now needs to make it by Marcus, and was able to do so indeed. And now 1.9 seconds up to Hybrid. Let's see what kind of a distance he can pull in on this first lap. Those fresh tyres are going to offer up quite a bit of extra grip. You would imagine for Squidge, it's either pit this lap or try to one stop. What is Squidge going to elect to do? You would imagine then it's a one stop for both Squidge and Tess. Matty has 24 seconds to make up on the two over the next 17 laps. So he has to average well over a second lap quicker. Which right now I'm not going to say is an issue, but when the tyre wear kicks in, very well could be. We'll wait and see. It's the second set of mediums for Matty Adam. We'll also get to a point in not too long where Squidge and Tess's tyre hit an absolute cliff. Tess 1.3 seconds behind Squidge. Now no DRS advantage for the two, whilst Matty's going to be benefiting of their DRS every now and again. Well, he's not for a couple of laps now. Now what's on that hard tyre is doing a very, very good job up to P5 right now. Djokovic on the hards as well is going to be he's going to be a factor for Matty Adam here in this race, doing a very, very alternate strategy, and his pace is just going to start showing. Some rain has decided to retire in the pit lane. Not fancying those 26 seconds worth of penalties, unfortunately. As here comes both Tess and Squidge. Is that good enough for a one stop is my question. Lap 11 out of 27 they're coming in on. Is that for a set of hard tyres for both Squidge and Tess then? Yes it is. So that's... they might have just outplayed Matty significantly here if they can get those tyres to the end. How clear is Matty coming into the first corner? He is about 2 seconds clear, and he'll be extending that gap a bit further. But those mediums are going to start falling away relatively quickly. Has Matty outplayed himself just a little bit here? Or are the hard tyres of Squidge and Tess going to fall off an absolute cliff at the last couple of laps, and that's where Matty's going to be able to gain 2 seconds a lap. She'll wait and see. Lap 11 out of 27. 17 laps to go. As Tess can't afford to get stuck behind the Red Bull of Hybrid for any longer and doesn't do so, that's straight up in P6 now, and it's going to start chasing down Squidge once again, but he's running in clear air now, crucially. Both of them not being as affected by that dirty air, and as a result of that, the tyre wear is not going to be as bad. Djokovic has taken the lead of the Grand Prix. He's gone past Ondrzejczyk on his alternate strategy for the time being. He'd love a safety car in about 4 laps. When is Djokovic going to be coming in is the question. Or do you just wait and hope for a safety car? If you're Djokovic at this stage. Gone podiumless so far this season, if I'm not mistaken. Winless last season, winless so far this season. It's a drought that we've never seen Djokovic in before. So then Ondrzejczyk versus Djokovic, that little battle goes on. Meanwhile, Squidge is actually catching Matty by a decent amount every lap. So that hard time might not be a bad race time one bit, which Djokovic is kind of showing off right now. along with Ondrzejczyk, both of them being on that alternate hard tyre. As for Iwat, he's doing a very, very good job on them indeed as well. Here we go then. Matti now cannot afford to get stuck behind Iwat for even a moment. Iwat comes straight into the pit lane when he sees the Alpine coming up behind him. So let's see what Iwat decides to do, because surely you're not going to make more than half the race distance on a set of mediums. That's too early a pit stop. And medium tyres going on, you would imagine it's about an 8-lap stint each on a set of medium tyres, and then 2 stop it to the end. The question is, what is Tess and Squidge going to do? Will they be forced into another stop? From what we saw there, the hard tyres about 13 laps for Iwat before they got worn out. So then, Battle of the Swedes, Wigan and Darren Stahl currently sitting 14th and 15th place. Darren, with that for a second time penalty, could turn problematic because we're not seeing too many of them right now. Love to see how many warnings everyone are on, but this is a problem for Matty Adam on the alternate strategy. Squidge and Tess now has the Ferrari right behind him. And Squidge on his hard tyres is not going to want to get stuck behind that. Alpine blasts his way past on the start-finish straight. That is Squidge up into provisional P1 again. Currently P3 on the grid, barring any safety cars. As Wiggins being put under pressure by a B-tier into the first corner, manages to keep the McLaren behind him. It's in a McLaren sandwich at the moment. Very, very tight battle between Darren Wiggin and a B-tier for 14th place as well. B-tier had a decent start. Something just fell off a bit later, but he has made his one mandatory pit stop, if I'm not mistaken. And that is contact between the three heading into the second chicane as well, where a BT's actually let Wiggin go. I thought it was a relatively good move, but apparently not. And a BT sportingly letting Wiggin go there to overtake him once again in a couple of corners. So for the second Alpine, he's flying around the outside of Hybrid through the Parabolica. Hybrid is coming into the pit lane then. So what is it going to be for a Hybrid? What tyres are going on that Red Bull? There's going to be medium tyres on for the next 12 to 13 laps. It's a long medium stint, but it could be pulled off. As you see then, most people haven't made their stops. Ondrzejczyk and Djokovic the only exception. There are 14 lap all the hard tyres, basically telling both Tess and Squish that that kind of a stint can be done. They'll have to carry them a bit further into the race though, and you would imagine right now both of them just driving around and hope that we have a safety car. Right now this strategy is not working out ideally for Matty either. Everyone behind him on hard tyres that will, to be fair, have to pit again for the tyres are just a bit too old, you'd reckon. But Matty's going to have to pit before them, which means he's going to have to navigate a lot of traffic. He might have just tried something that was never going to work here. We'll wait and see. But it's maybe a bit too optimistic of a strategy that for Matty. Tess is now riding his chuff as well, and that could cost him even further time. Squidge right now is looking relatively comfortable in the lead of this Italian Grand Prix, barring Ondrzejczyk and Djokovic in front, of course. They are yet to make their pit stop. quite a significant number of cars stuck in absolute no man's land at the moment. Marcus is one of them. No one close ahead of him, no one close behind. Hybrid on a better tyre could sneak up over the next couple of laps. Got a driver like Recon who's very much running a race of his own. To an extent iWatts and Luna as well. Definitely Luna. Looking at the gaps, 3.5 seconds to any car either ahead or behind. And there goes Djokovic and Ondrzejczyk pulling the trigger on their first stop of the race and only stop of the race. Medium tyres going on and out. As Matty's pulled the trigger on his stop as well, and he's forced onto the hard tyres. A bit too early there, we'll wait and see. Matty in P8 then behind his teammate, who's a long way down the field. iWatts is not far behind to be fair, so Matty might have actually had to make that pit stop when he did. So iWatts just that second behind. So now then, let's see. Matty's gonna have to be 2 seconds a lap quicker over the rest of the race, including overtakes in order to battle for the win here. Podium may be a bit more realistic. We'll wait and see. Djokovic right now is running a preferable race. He's on a better tire and significantly, yeah, Matty's been massively out-strategized here. We could have something interesting with Ondrzejczyk and Djokovic here if Squidge's and Tess's tyres fall off. J-Mars left the session, we'll give him an invite right back. So I can't find him, but he's on Xbox, so he's just going to be able to join straight off me, which is very, very good. So Squidge, Tess, very close between the pair as well. Noah right now running in podium position. Ondrzejczyk is going to be quickly coming up behind him, and Noah's not going to make it difficult for him one bit. So let's just keep an eye on that gap. It's 13 seconds with about 10 laps to go. So this is where everything is going to get very, very interesting. As for Matty, he'll be very lucky in order to get a top 5 here even. So Matty just not getting the strategy quite right this afternoon, unless Squidge and Tess are forced into making that second pit stop. So wait and see. In that situation, it might be a victory gifted to Ondrzejczyk. We'll watch his progress with great interest. Holman then with a penalty sitting behind Djokovic as well, just dragging himself along. Well clear of Matty Adams, 7-8 seconds down. As here we go, Holman on Djokovic into turn 1. They're running two very different races, and Djokovic is going to... yeah, he's going to be a bit pissed with that. Holman well within his rights to try and overtake, but it's a bit unnecessary really. Instead of Holman just trying to stick with Djokovic, pulling himself along there, trying to overtake him, slowing both of them down. Not ideal racing that from Holman, who right now should be more worried about cars like a BT coming up behind on 11-lap-old hard tyres. So then we have a distinct battle for the lead of this Grand Prix then. We have Squidge and Tess. Who could have imagined that at the beginning of this race, ladies and gentlemen, that Squidge and Tess was going to find each other? SJM, I will give you an invite in just 1 second. As that could be a big championship issue for Ferrari as well. If J-Man's not able to get back into this session, not going to be scoring any points for Ferrari, who's running in a decent position as well. So Holman's now lost a massive amount of ground to Djokovic. Ondrejek is not really catching Tess and Squidge ahead, but he does have a bit of a pace disadvantage naturally. Jama, I did send you another invite. I don't know if you got it or not. I hope that you did. We'll wait and see. As Tess versus Squidge then for the win. Not unexpected, but Matty will be a bit few more soft and wasn't able to get the strategy more on today. That's assuming then the Squidge and Tess doesn't have a massive tyre fall off, which right now I don't see them having, but they're gonna have to do 18 laps on those tyres. It's quite a lot. Djokovic right now 2 seconds behind Ondrejek for that last podium position as well, which right now might go unchallenged, as Matty has still got 8 seconds of ground to make up before he can get close to battling these two. So it's between Djokovic and Ondrejek for that podium place. Right now Ondrejek with slight advantage, but he is not catching Tessa Squidge, unfortunately, because it would have been fun to see that alternate strategy come into play. Beatty and some are going to try to stick these out on the hard tyres just to get some points on board for McLaren, who are in desperate need. Red Bull pulling away slightly over the last couple of weeks, especially with the podium provided by Hybrid. Now Luna involved in the battle as well. It's going to be crucial for AB to stopping the points on a regular basis, and Darren will need to pick up a couple as well. As Jamer has been able to make it back into the session, however, I'm scared that the damage to his race might have already been done. Is this one the racing for position? It's going to start then between Squidge and Tess. Nah, Tess just stays behind for another go at it. Question is, how much is Squidge defending, or are they just waiting for that final lap showdown, as usually happens in any F1? Sadly, there's a bit too much overtake at will. Because then right now we don't really have anything too interesting to give you, because this battle is going to be over before it's even begun. Ray on brand new medium tyres versus CBT on very old hard tyres. I think you'll be able to imagine the outcome of that one pretty easily. That'll be over within the lap. Unless ABT is able to pull off a master stroke of defending. Ray pulls to the inside, just tries to get BT to go a bit deep. Not going to happen. Coming out of the first corner, then you can just see how much more pace Ray has, but there's a bit of lag there. Just allows ABT to pull away. Has J. Marie bound controlled the Ferrari? Yes, he has. Oh, that's a wobbly McLaren coming out of the second chicane, and is that a potential overtake into the Lesmos for Ray? Not quite. As Holman, another 3-second time penalty van, is going to promote Matty up a place either way. As DRS enabled then for Ray, who's now going to go past the McLaren of ABT without too much difficulty, and Luna's coming up on the scene as well. And we'll keep a watchful eye out on this one, because Luna and ABT have had several relatively big coming together over the last season. So we'll just see how these two race each other. Usually it doesn't go particularly well whenever Luna and ABT find each other on track, but they have a tendency to very often do so. There we go, and I can already see there being a little bit of an incident into turn 1, but ABT with the DRS on Ray is able to defend away Luna this time around. He's not going to be in that same situation in a lap's time. And worth considering for Noah as well as that 10-second time penalty of Holman can be removed after the race if... I don't know what it's for actually. It might have been for a speeding in the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not going to check it. Any 10-second time penalty can be investigated, basically. Well, now any time penalty can be investigated with proper cause, but usually when you get corner cutting penalties that are 10-second time penalties for avoiding action, those are going to be removed after the race if still applied. So then, Tess has actually taken the lead of the Grand Prix here on lap 24 out of 27. It's a type of racing that we don't really pay attention to because it usually goes down the last couple of laps, but now Squidge is going to have to get by and defend Tess. Crucial for him to make up a bit. Brown on anywhere near him. J-Mouse left the session again at his race over for his part. Not going to be able to make anything of this race. Here we go then, 3 laps to go as we go around the Parabolica for the 4th last time. Tess versus Squidge, round 1. Here we go. Let's just call round 1 in Squidge's favour and move on to the next round. Squidge takes the lead of Grand Prix then away from Tess convincingly. I don't know if he'll actually turn to lap 25 or still 24. Between lap 24 and 25, let's just say. Very, very easy overtake for Squidge 2017. Marcus into the points for the first time in a lot of races and sitting behind Luna and Ibita with time penalties as well. This could be good for the Aston Martin driver who has under-delivered ever so slightly, and Luna and Ibita makes contact through the Parabolica, and Beatty will be absolutely fuming if that contact went down as I thought it might have. If nothing else, Beatty once again in a promising position for points, and it's all just gone away from him once more. Beatty still running within a points pay position because you do have Recon with that time penalty. Not too far ahead as well, you do have Luna with a time penalty, so the battle between them might not be over. Marcus though, is he going to try to get past Luna, or is he just going to be content with sitting there behind waiting this out? Round 2 then, Tess versus Squidge. Second last opportunity they're going to have at this. And Tess is not overtaking Squidge that time around. Squidge locking up the rear brakes though, not going to cost him too much time, but just a little bit. But their tyres are getting old now. How old are they? 15 lap old hard tyres. So they're not going to be feeling overly yummy those. Max on Luna so far behind now, they're coming up to the Parabolica still. Half a lap behind P8 and P9. However, it doesn't appear like anyone has been lapped as of yet. A couple of people have, never mind. A couple of people have. Pullman, fastest lap of the Grand Prix, doesn't really matter anymore, no points awarded, but still a little nice thing to get, and oh no, that is a podium chance gone for Djokovic with the addition of a 3-second time penalty to his course. Is not going to see him behind Matty Adam unless he has a shocker of a last lap, but it might have just cost him a chance at a podium, but he had to take the risk in order to get into DRS advantage on the check. Here we go then for the last time. Tess versus Squidge. What's the closing speed going to be into that final chicane? Tess is closing and closing, but he's not going to be near close enough to make it move down the inside. The 2 championship contenders touch. Tess goes into the back of Squidge 2017. They're going to have one more go at this. Down into Ascari. Tess with the DRS through Cavagrande makes up a lot of ground. Is Tess actually going to try something here? Force Squidge to go defensive. Not this time around. We have a Red Bull, I believe. Very, very slow on that back straight. Yellow flags coming up, and this could really help Squidge out. if things doesn't change. That Red Bull needing to get out of the way, but it's a puncture on hybrid. Yellow flags, overtaking disallowed. This might very well be what triggered this race to end the way it did. Tess not allowed to go by Squidge into Ascari. It's heartbreak for the Mercedes. I don't know if it could have, but it wasn't meant to be. Puncture for hybrid. That has determined the outcome of the Italian Grand Prix. Squidge runs the Parabolica one last time. Is Tess going to be able to get a massive run out of it? No, he isn't. Squidge wins at Ferrari's home circuit, and he extends his championship lead even further. Tess comes home for a very well-fought P2, but it just wasn't enough in the end. Ondrzejczyk comes home for yet another podium this season. Djokovic, very, very close. Not quite close enough. With Matti miscalculating strategy, that's P5. And it's a bad weekend for Alpine in the constructor standings, but still picking home crucial points in 5th and 7th. Noah in 6th for Racing Bulls. Them outscoring Alpine for the first time in quite a while. Crucial for them as well. Ray in 7th, Luna in 8th, who's actually not come across the line yet, so let's hold for those results. Ray coming across the line just then. Luna with 6 seconds worth of time penalties is going to promote Mackes up in 8th place, which I believe is the season highest result for Mackes. Luna in 9th, Recon in 10th, Iwat in 11th, followed by Beatty in 12th. Holman in 13th place, followed by Wilco, had a very, very bad race. Wigan, Darren with DNF there at the end as well, along with Jamar, the last of the finishers. S10, that is a race which maybe was decided by that late yellow flag heading into Ascari. Tess will be annoyed with that it wasn't ever able to have a go, but was it going to work into Ascari? Not the easiest place to overtake. Squidge, well-earned victory in Monza, and now firmly has one hand placed on the championship trophy. It's gonna have to lose a lot of points over the next couple of races in order to lose out on it. Just looking at it now, he'll extend his championship lead almost up to 40 points. 37 points, I believe, is going to be the gap as we exit Monza, barring any penalties, of course, with 6 races to go. That means the Tess basically has to win every single race remaining, and Squidge finish P2 for him to have a chance. But there's a couple of tough ones coming up. Qatar next week, Japan the week after that, Singapore, which saw the two come together last season out for a mandatory 2-stop as well. So is Qatar. Then we have Texas, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. Fast lap then goes to Holman, who went down to 13th place at the end with a shocking drop-off towards the end of the Grand Prix. He was running in a good position. But then, that is going to be it for this edition of the Italian Grand Prix. So a bit of controversy at the end, potentially, but the outcome of which we'll never know. If you have enjoyed this race, then make sure to give us a follow. We are very, very close to 200 followers on this channel now. Love to get there before the end of the season. So then, thank you very much for sticking with us for everything this weekend. We will see you next time out when NEF1 returns to Qatar for the second last mandatory 2-stop race of the season. Until then, stay safe everyone, have a good one, and peace out.